is going on, Jets fans? Welcome back into Jets Media. We have so much to get into today. I want to break down all the general managers that the New York Jets will be interviewing and already have interviewed and break it all down. The Jets actually just announced a specific candidate that they officially just interviewed, all right? So we're going to break it all down in the show. This show is always being powered and brought to you by BetUS, the #1 online sports book on the face of the planet, man. Big shout out to BetUS Sportsbook. Cannot thank them enough for sponsoring Jets Media all season long. We'll hear from them in just a moment on into the show. Now, here is the list of all the people that the New York Jets will be interviewing or are interested in interviewing. Here it is on your screen, folks. There it is. All right, there it is. All right, so you guys let me know who you want the New York Jets to bring in at the GM spot right now. All right, right now. You see the list on your screen here. I want you all to let me know the people that you want the New York Jets to bring in. Would love to hear all your opinions in the chat right now. I value all your opinions very, very well. So I would appreciate it if you guys can let me know. The New York Jets just finished an interview with Alec Halaby, all right, a Philadelphia Eagles person who has worked his way up that organization. Now, Joe Douglas was affiliated with Philadelphia. Now we're getting another potential Philadelphia person under Howie that can come in here. I like that idea. I think he actually has a lot of interesting qualities to his resume that I resonate with, so that's a name to keep in mind. The Jets also are talking to Mike Bergonzi today, not officially yet, but definitely some names to keep in mind for this head coach and GM search. They also just announced that the New York Jets are going to be interviewing Spagnuolo from Kansas City for the head coaching position. Man, it's just so much to keep up with, and I'm trying my best to give you guys all I can on all the news. So bear with me because the Jets are interviewing literally everybody. You could argue they're interviewing the most candidates out of any team in the NFL. And I think that has to do with the Jets hiring the 33rd team. That company is kind of scaling the Jets to interview every single person possible for the job. So you see all the names on your screen. The Jets already interviewed Thomas Dimitrov, John Robinson, Louis Riddick, Jim Nagy, and they just officially interviewed Alec Halaby. I'm pretty sure today they're interviewing Mike Bergonzi as well. So those are the guys that I feel like Jets fans need to keep in mind. Ryan Grigson is a name that I don't think a lot of Jets fans are kind of open to. I don't think that's a guy that people are excited about. Someone who, built up the Indianapolis Colts with Andrew Luck, and then he left. Now he's with the Vikings, I believe. Interesting name. Mike Greenberg. Now that's a name to watch for. Mike Greenberg is a name that I want people to realize. He is a Jets fan from Long Island, New York, like me. And he's kind of the interesting candidate, Mike Greenberg, because he doesn't really have a knowledge of scouting. His expertise is not talent. It's more cap. He's a cap wizard. He's the guy that was able to help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers figure out a way to get Tom Brady, keep Mike Evans, keep Chris Godwin, pay Tristan Wirfs. You think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they somehow have so much talent, and they can fit everybody on their team. And it's by this guy, Mike Greenberg. They're not also the Saints where they're kicking, money down the line and they're in cap hell. Like, they have situations to improve their roster every year while keeping the talent. So that's an intriguing name. He would obviously have to build a scouting department underneath him because he's not coming here to be an eye for talent, not really good at, drafting. That's a different avenue of a GM, but that's okay. If he has the right people in charge of the scouting department that he can rely on in terms of, the NFL draft, because people need to realize there's more to the GM position than just drafting, right? It's financial, fitting the cap space, extensions, value, and of course the NFL draft is a big part of it, right? We just feel like when you think of the GM, you're like, all right, well, who's his draft picks? Who's his free agent signings? Like, it also comes down to the math to everything. And Mike Greenberg is a guy that you got to consider. Mike Bergonzi is one of my favorites. Now, Mike Bergonzi is interesting because the Jets just officially announced, or the Jets didn't announce it, somebody else announced it just before, that Spags of the Kansas City Chiefs is getting an interview. Now, how would you guys feel with the Mike Bergonzi and a Spagnuolo pairing? Now, I can guarantee you that no one really wants Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is a guy that the Jets are interviewing. He's also from Kansas City. But could the Jets go with Spags and then get Borgonzi and then maybe bring in, an offensive coordinator? That's kind of going the Kansas City Chiefs route, who has a dynasty right now brewing. I mean, back-to-back Super Bowl champions for a reason. So I think that's another opportunity that the Jets can go. Mike Borgonzi, assistant GM, been there for a while. I like that idea. I absolutely do. So you guys let me know, do you like the idea of Mike Borgonzi coming in here with Spags, right? Do you like that idea? I feel like a lot of Jets fans are now on board with Spagnuolo. They're like, oh, I'm down. Let's hear it, chat. Right now, let me know. Is that somebody you'd like to bring in, Mike Borgonzi? Hit the like button, folks. We really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Cannot thank you all enough for being here. All right, I see the chat saying I wouldn't mind Spags. I'd be ecstatic. All right, I love it. Paul says just let Brick make the pick. Why not? Yeah, it's true. Brick Johnson doing it. Borderless, not a bad idea. All right, seems like you guys are on board. Seems like some of you guys are on board. All right, Spags. You guys like the idea, it seems, huh? All right. Now, Mike Borgonzi is a name that we're going to see the Jets announce that they interviewed soon, later today. So keep your eye on for more news and more updates on that. All right, so let's get into it. So here is Mike Borgonzi. The Jets will be interviewing him, right? The assistant GM for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a guy that I'm down for. I'm down for this. And I'm sure you guys should be too. If you're a Jets fan, I think you should be down for this too. I really, really do. I don't see why you wouldn't be. I don't see why you wouldn't be, man. So you guys, again, let me know who your favorite is. Who your favorite is. All right? Let's go. Hold on one second. I feel like who's another guy we want to talk about right now? Who's another guy that we want to talk about right now? All right, Mike Greenberg. We already talked about him before. This is a guy that, Jets fan from Long Island. Love it. Absolutely love it. Love the idea. Love the idea. All right. You guys let me know. Do you like that? Now, the funny thing about this one is everyone's like, Mike Greenberg from ESPN? That Mike Greenberg? No. Not that Mike Greenberg. Not that Mike Greenberg. Another interesting name the Jets interviewed is Thomas Dimitrov. All right. This is a guy I like. He's been in the league for a while. Not in the league anymore, obviously. But he was in the league for Atlanta for quite some time. I like the experience. Man. I do like the experience of a Thomas Dimitrov. I think that is something to keep in mind. Right? Something to keep in mind that we all consider. Now, I do want to highlight a little bit more about the guy that the Jets just interviewed. All right? Which is Alec Halaby. All right? This is a guy that is a very interesting resume. And you can argue it's pretty similar to Joe Douglas's. The Jets just announced it. Halaby, who has an analytics background, has been the Eagles' assistant GM since 2022 and has been with the organization for 17 years since he was hired as an intern in 2007 in the football operations department. Other than analytics, Halaby's responsibilities include working with pro and college scouts, sports performance, and the salary cap. Before being named assistant GM, he spent 2016 to 2021 as the team's vice president of football operations and strategy. He's also served as a special assistant to the GM from 2012 to 2015 and player personnel 2010 to 11. So this guy also graduated from Harvard in 2009. I mean, that was all from Ethan Greenberg on the article of the Jets website. All that information came from there. I like this candidate. I think he's also 38 years old, so he's young. He's young, right? This is a guy that has been, in the same organization a successful Super Bowl winning organization, the Philadelphia Eagles, for a while. And it sounds like, coming in as an intern in 2007 and working your way up to the assistant GM at that age, I like that resume. I really do. I think he may be one of my favorites out of all the guys that I've been seeing that are linked to the Jets job for the GM search. Sign me up. Sign me up. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Really do appreciate all the love. Would really appreciate if you guys can simply smash the like button on your way into the show, man. Would mean a lot to the channel. Would mean a lot to the channel if you guys can do that for me, for the boy, man. Hit that like button on your way in, baby. The vibes are high. It is the heart of the offseason now. The season's done, and the New York Jets are doing everything in their power to go out there and interview as many candidates as humanly possible. How funny is that? We're interviewing the whole world, all right? Now, I'm curious to see if the Patriots are actually going to land Vrabel this week. They already got through with the Rudy rule. They already interviewed 2 coaches and posted it on the same graphic. And now the rumor is that they're going to interview Mike Vrabel tomorrow. Will they be hiring him right away? All right? Does that officially rule out the Jets of getting Mike Vrabel? I think a lot of people are under the assumption that the Jets are not getting Mike Vrabel anymore. Right? That's the assumption. There's a lot of guys out there, man. Aaron Glenn is a guy that is one of my favorites to land this job as a head coach. Not saying he is my favorite, but he's one of my favorites. I really like the idea of getting Aaron Glenn here as the head coach. Really excited to see where he ends up if it's not the Jets. Now, getting back to the GM, Louis Riddick. The Jets already interviewed him. They already interviewed him. It's hard. It's really, really hard. You see all these resumes of the guys that the Jets are bringing in for an interview. It's hard to figure out who you want. Really is. It's so hard to figure out who you want. I mean, this is a guy who has no experience. Let's be honest with ourselves. 0 experience, Louis Riddick, as a GM. Whereas Alec Halaby doesn't have experience, but he's been in that position to learn under a GM for the last forever. While Riddick, on the other hand, he's been in ESPN, working in television. 2 different worlds. 2 different worlds completely. Completely different worlds. So, oh, God, it's going to be interesting. Another guy that we just heard that the Jets are interviewing is John Eric Sullivan. This is the guy that, according to some Packers people that I've heard, is the responsible for Jordan Love, where he was the guy that brought Jordan Love to the attention of the president of the Packers. Like, hey, man, Jordan Love is that guy. We should consider drafting him. This is what he's known to be responsible for. You see on the graphic, the Jets are expected to interview Packers Vice President of Player Personnel, a key lieutenant to Brian Gutekunst. Sullivan has risen up the ranks in Green Bay over the last 2 decades. So there's a lot of people. And I hope I don't overwhelm you all. Another intriguing name, which I don't really get, is Jim Nagy. Jim Nagy runs the Senior Bowl. He's the executive director of it. I don't know how running the Senior Bowl is the same as running a football team. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how you can look at Jim Nagy and tell me he's qualified for the job. Right? You can't tell me that. We'll see, though. We'll see. Yeah, there's a lot of names that's coming out there, folks. A lot of freaking names that's coming out there all across the league about who the Jets are getting. It's hard to keep up with, right? You got the tracker sheet of everyone. You got a tracker sheet like, oh, this guy's getting interviewed, that guy's getting interviewed, and it's hard to really keep it all up. All right, we have some breaking news. Legendary Buckeyes Chris Spielman will interview for the Jets GM job. Current exec assistant to Detroit's ownership has single-handedly changed culture of the Lions by impacting the hiring of GM Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Chris Spielman is another guy that the Jets are bringing in for an interview. There we go. And another one. Another one. Oof. I can't keep up with it. I really can't. I like that idea. He's the guy that's been part of. I think this is the person that can be brought in if we hired Aaron Glenn. This is a guy that you can consider bringing in if you hire Aaron Glenn. That's how I look at it. So the list is getting longer and longer the more we talk about this. It really, really is. It's honestly ridiculous. Where I got to figure out my list. Another name is Ray Farmer. All right. The Rams senior personnel exec. The Rams, they've been pretty good. Super Bowl winning Rams, sacrificing all their first round picks. So this is a lot. This is a lot. You guys let me know who you want because it feels like it's hard to keep up with. I approve anyone from the Lions. Yeah. Give me Aaron Glenn. Give me any GM that goes with him. I don't know why Ray Agnew's not getting any interviews. Very interesting why he's not. Very interesting of why he's not. Right? I think Chris Spielman is the guy to look into from Detroit. Right? If you want to look into someone from Detroit, that's the guy that I'm looking at. Another name that the Jets interviewed last week, it doesn't seem like he's a hot name, John Robinson from Tennessee. I'd pass on this personally. I don't really see anything that is really jumping off the screen to me about this guy. That's good. So no thank you. No thank you. Now, yesterday the Jets interviewed Rex Ryan. They interviewed Rex Ryan, and that's a big talking point. That's a big talking point around the league. Is Rex Ryan going to get hired? I don't think he will, but he could. It just feels like there's so many candidates that the Jets are looking into that it's hard to kind of predict that they're going to, I don't want to say settle, but they're going to go with him, right? They're going to go with Rex out of all these guys. Yeesh. It's a weird time that we're in. It is. And if you look on the screen now, these are all the guys that the New York Jets are interviewing to be the head coach. Right? This is the head coach. Look at all the guys. Ron Rivera, Vrabel, Rex, Flores, Brady, Glenn, Grease, Joseph, McCown, Nagy, Ulbrich, Slowick, Smith, Rizzi, and add Spags to this. I have not added him yet because that news, as you can see on the bottom of the graphic, it says this was as of 3 p.m. yesterday. So this graphic is not updated. Okay? If anybody wondering, hey, where's Spagnuolo, bro? Put him on the graphic. This graphic wasn't updated yet. But look at all these guys, dude. I think the Jets are not going to find their guy until, if there was a dark horse candidate, could it be Josh McCown? Could Josh McCown get the job? He's getting interviewed. I know people would rather him be OC, but there's some guys that rise up the ranks and can be a head coach right after being a quarterback's coach. Former player. Could it be the next Kevin O'Connell? He's sitting there firsthand watching Kevin O'Connell coach Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings to a 14-win season. Just saying. Same thing with Brian Flores. Thoughts on what Ryan Fitzpatrick said about Brian Flores. So my thoughts about the Ryan Fitzpatrick situation with Brian Flores, you guys should go watch Wake Up and Ball this morning because I asked TD his thoughts of it, and he added a lot of context to what Fitzpatrick was saying. And I trust TD Finn's talk from this perspective because he was obviously very plugged into what was going on during that Fitzpatrick to Flores era, and he filled in a lot of gaps that understands why Fitzpatrick called Flores a quote-unquote dictator and why he alienated himself a little bit. And long story short, TD was saying that there's a lawsuit, right, between Flores and the NFL, and it all stems between that Brady tampering. And according to TD, he said that this is in the filing of the lawsuit that you can go read. A big reason why Brian Flores started to kind of alienate himself from Miami was they asked Flores to sit in on a meeting with Tom Brady that was tampering and against the rules. And Flores wanted nothing to do with it. He's like, I'm not breaking the rules. And then Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, and everybody hosted a meeting with Tom Brady, which eventually got their first-round pick removed. And then since that moment, Flores and the front office of the Dolphins weren't on the same page. And Fitzpatrick didn't really know all that stuff, so he was just looking at it from a player perspective. I thought that's pretty interesting context to the whole situation of what Ryan Fitzpatrick was saying. Just saying. Just saying. So, wow. Isn't this wild stuff? Isn't this wild stuff? So there's so many names to keep up with, folks, that it's hard to keep up with. But here are all the head coaches. And I feel like Brian Flores is a guy that I'm definitely down for. I'm not going to let what Ryan Fitzpatrick had to say change my opinion on him personally. I'm still down for it. Now, the guys I'm not down for are Bobby Slowick, no thank you. Arthur Smith, no thank you. Darren Rizzi, why are we even interviewing you? Matt Nagy, Jeff Ulbrich, of course, no thank you, no offense. Brian Grease, intriguing, but I don't know. Spags is interesting as well. It's so tough, dude. It really is. Like, what do we know as fans? Right? We're just looking at it from a fan perspective, man, and I feel like there's so much that needs to get talked about. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I feel like we can all agree we don't want, and also a lot of guys who we can agree with that we do want at the same time. So that's how I look at it, and that's how you should look at it too, Jets fans. It's that simple. Just got to trust the process and hope that it can all come together. And we get the right people for the job. We get the right people in charge of this thing. Man, this is going to be hard. Now, I do want to check out some odds on BetUS because they are the proud sponsor of this channel. Big shout out to BetUS as always for being here all season long, sponsoring the channel. If you guys go to their website, you guys can see wild card weekend odds are live, baby. The Texans 3-point home underdogs. Do you guys have the Chargers winning this game? Go check them out. Ravens, Steelers, 10 points. Broncos, Bills, 9.5 points. Wow, that's a big line. Packers, Eagles, Commanders, Bucks. Rams, Vikings is even. That's interesting. The Rams and Vikings are very even. All right, that's an interesting one. Very interesting one. So you guys go check that out over there on BetUS. Definitely consider signing up and using the code YouTube150 when you sign up. Big shout out to BetUS as always. Cannot thank them enough. Now, a cool thing about BetUS is that they're also branching out into more of opportunities for casino, right? If you guys want to check out their casino, they got a 200% sign-up bonus. Get ready for a rush with the BetUS Casino. Generous promotions and tourneys make every play even more rewarding. Sign up now and experience a difference. Get your bonus of 200% up to $5,000 with a 250% crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000. So really fun stuff over there. Please, please gamble responsibly. All right? Appreciate you all for supporting the brands on the channel. Now, the GM search is leveling it all up. And I feel like the most important piece of this is that the Jets find the head coach and the GM that can work together with synergy. I think the word synergy is very important here, and I'm hopeful that will do it. All right? I wouldn't mind a rookie head coach if Aaron Rodgers retires or leave the team. Yeah, Lissell, thank you for the super chat. It's just like the rookie head coach. Like, which rookie head coach are we talking about? You know what I mean? Is it Aaron Glenn? Is it McCown? Joe Brady? Those are the rookie head coaches they were interviewing. Brian Grease? Bobby Slowick? No. I mean, there's some rookie head coaches I like. Not all of them. Not all of them. So, we'll see. Lissell, thank you so much for the super chat, my guy. Really do appreciate you, my brother. So, Robert Saleh, something in the chat asked me about Robert Saleh news. Saleh's getting interviewed for the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach position. He's also getting potentially interest from the 49ers to fill in the defensive coordinator duties. So, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Now, some news today. If you missed it, we talked about it already on the show, but Alec Halaby has been officially interviewed. This is one of my personal favorites to get the job. He is young, 38 years old, started as an intern, graduated from Harvard. This guy seems like a young prodigy. This guy sounds like a young prodigy. Part of the Philadelphia Eagles organization since 2007 as an intern. Rose up the ranks. Involved in analytics department, player development department, scouting, everything. This sounds like the guy for the job, man, personally. I like this. I like this candidate a lot. To be honest. He's young, too. But the question is, who would you pair the coach with, right? Who's the coach that you'd want to bring in to pair him up with, right? We're not really interviewing anybody from the Eagles tree. So would there have to be a familiarity between that? Interesting to see. Because the question I have is, are the Jets, looking after this GM and head coach? They're interviewing the coach and the GMs at the same time. So there has to be some type of overlap. Right? We'll see. What do you guys think? Now let's talk about the newest member that just got released about who is going to get interviewed, right? His name is Chris Spielman. All right? Chris Spielman. Interesting name here. Let's put the graphic on the screen to get you guys connected with it. Very interesting name. I feel like Chris Spielman, I feel like I've heard his name before when the credit goes to the Detroit Lions. All right? Hold on. So I think Chris Spielman is an interesting name. Legendary Buckeye. Chris Spielman will interview for the New York Jets GM job, sources tell Anthony Rothman. All right? He was in charge of hiring Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Anybody from Detroit, sign me up. I feel like an Aaron Glenn head coach with this guy could be an interesting one. Could be another interesting candidate right here that we're looking at. When will it end? Flicks with a super chat says, bro, doesn't matter. You're getting Gase, bro. Chill, Flicks. Why you got to come on here and speak that nonsense? But Brian Gase and McCown are my dark horse. 2 quarterback coaches, right? The Jets are also interviewing guys that are like quarterback coaches, not just coordinators. So we'll see about that. I appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. Have to get Borgonzi in here. Yeah, we're getting Borgonzi for an interview. Today, I believe, we're going to see the official announcement. Mike Borgonzi is a very interesting name that I like as well. I mean, you talk about coming from the most successful organization in football the last 5 years is the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, sign me up. He looks like a GM, too. That doesn't look like no assistant. This guy looks like he should be running a football team. For sure. Do you think the Jets will be able to pick a QB at their position, or should they ball with Jordan Travis? Yeah, they're going to be drafting a quarterback. Doesn't have to be in the first round, but they can do it in the second round, too. Or in the first round, they fall in love with someone. You never know. Smash that like button, guys. Help a brother out. My guy RKO is reminding the people. Appreciate you. What do you think of the Jets picking Malachi Starks at number 7? Rex would love that pick. Do you think Rex Ryan's coming? Is number 1. Do you think you're making it seem like Rex is coming? I feel like there's a lot of options for the Jets at number 7. I feel like the Jets could go a lot of different routes. Getting that position at that pick, you guys know how we all feel about that. Let's be honest with ourselves. We went through this before. We went through this position in the first round. Is it worth going this position, the defensive back. And I also don't think a lot of people want Rex still. Like, do we want to go a safety at pick number 7? Do we really? I know he's versatile, can do a lot, but I know that you can look at Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore, and I know that we have a hole at safety. I don't see the Jets drafting a safety in the first round. I just don't. What about the OC of Tampa? I don't think we're interviewing him as of yet. Liam Cohen. We haven't requested an interview yet, but that could definitely change. That can definitely change. Carter at 7. That's definitely a name that a lot of people are looking at. So we'll see. This is so overwhelming. Can we all agree, Jets fans, that this is a little overwhelming here? Chris Spielman is a very interesting name. Let's put his name back on the screen and talk about him a little bit more. Chris Spielman, very interesting name. You guys let me know, are you intrigued by this candidate or not? Are you intrigued by this candidate right now? As I post this on socials to ask my social media community about this. All right. The New York Jets will interview Chris Spielman for their vacant GM position. What are your thoughts of this potential hire? So I'm typing and talking at the same time. So interesting to see all these candidates, man. You talk about a wide net. Woo, you talk about a wide net, all right. That's what it's all about. This is as wide of a net as possible. Is there anybody in the NFL that is interviewing as many people as us? And I also wonder, is that a good move or a bad move that we're doing this? They're interviewing these many people. We're interviewing so many people. So many. Oh, it's crazy. Texting with my graphics guy because I'm like, bro, I got my graphics guy on all these hires. Like, hey, yo, graphic on this guy. Graphic on this guy. That guy needs a graphic. We all need some graphics. I need to get one on Spags next. Damn, it doesn't end. Who is going to come out of here with an actual hiring, though? This is so nuts. So I feel like the Jets are doing quality, not doing quality over quantity. They're doing quantity over quality if you really want to go down that path. It should be Vrabel, plain and simple. Well, I think we can all agree that that's out of the Jets' control because the Patriots are now the front runners to land Vrabel. So you can't really look at it like that. Like, what are we doing, bro? Just hire Vrabel. Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that easy, bro. It's not. I want Mike Vrabel more than anybody else. But it's not that easy. You can't just hire someone like that. What does make a Vrabel potential pairing work for the Jets is what the Jets have and the Patriots don't is we have a vacant GM spot. And that also, in my opinion, gives the Jets a leg up in all these talks, right? In terms of when you're getting interviewed for the job as the head coach knows, like, oh, with the Jets, I'm coming in with a brand new GM. We're starting at the same time. We can build this thing together. Whereas other positions like the Saints, the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Bears, they all have their GMs there already. So that's different. That's a different experience. Feel me? That is a different experience. I hope we don't let that dude leave the building. Which dude, Derek? Which dude are you referring to? So these are the GM candidates that the Jets are bringing on in, including Chris Spielman, of course, who is not on there because that news just broke. Is there anybody that people look at this graphic and they're like, absolutely not? No, thank you. Do you have some people that think that? Because there's so many. Like, Jim Nagy is such an interesting name. Now, I'm going to be at the Senior Bowl. I'm sure you guys saw my announcement. If you didn't see my announcement, yes, I am going to the Senior Bowl, which is very exciting to see all these prospects come to the forefront. I posted it on socials yesterday, I believe. Yeah, I posted it on socials yesterday that I will be at the Senior Bowl. Here's the announcement I posted if you guys missed it. I will be there on behalf of Roundtable Sports. It's going to be a great time. Alabama, baby. I'm going down to Alabama. Wish me luck. Wish me luck, folks. It's going to be a fun time. Me, Colby, Dan, some of our Roundtable Sports crew is going to be there. Woo-wee. Come on now. All right, we got the Spags graphic in. Thoughts? Who do you want to interview at the Senior Bowl? My guy is going to be at the Senior Bowl. Jackson Dart, baby. Woo! What you know about it? Jackson Dart is invited to the Senior Bowl. And I think he'll be there. So, you guys know me. I'm excited for that. Richie went from his basement to media credentials. America's a great place. You know what, Sal? You're right. I did go from my basement. When people say, bro, you're in your parents' basement, you know what? That is where I started. I ain't gonna lie. Started in the parents' basement. Ain't there anymore, though. Look at this. I got a beautiful apartment now. Jackson Dart has the Jets Forever curse on him. Oh, God, Henny, come on. Don't say that. Woo. Don't say that. Who wants Spags? Who wants Spags? Making that post right now. Steve, he failed with the Giants though. That's my only issue with Spags as a head coach. Is he another one of those good defensive coordinators, bad head coaches? Very possible. But then again, he could be a guy that just is waiting for the next job. Multitasking like crazy, folks. The New York Jets will interview Kansas City Chiefs DC Steve Spagnuolo. Do you want the Jets to hire him as the next Jets head coach? I'm multitasking like crazy, making these posts. I needed myself a social media manager. Who wants to be my social media intern? Is anybody interested? Because I can't keep up with all this shit. I can't keep up with it. Just kidding. It's what I do for a living. I can keep up with it, but it's just a lot. We're posting a million things at a time. It's hard to keep up with all these interviews. But I'm not complaining. I'm loving every second of it, baby. Loving every second of it. Let's go. Just making this last post. about Spags. Boom, boom, boom. Bang. And you guys are entertaining me through all this stuff. All right. Boom. Steve Spags. Look at this. See how fast we can do it real time? Bang. There he is. On the screen. On the screen. Bang. Spags. Who wants Spags? Let me know. Let me know who wants. Spaghetti-O for head coach. There we go. Yeah, he was an intern for the Giants. Yes, that is true. But, you know, DC wasn't really great. Pass on Spags. I want Spags. Look at that. This is the perfect example of us Jets fans. Pass. Nah, I want him. Slippery Pete says, Ravens fan here. Good luck next season, man. Cheering for the Jets. Well, Slippery Pete, thank you for tuning into this channel, by the way. And I feel like, you know, the Ravens are about to do something special in the playoffs, so good luck in the postseason. For sure. From Spags to riches. Look at that. We need a top defensive tackle in the draft so we can begin to stop the run. Eric Bieniemy. How would you guys feel with Spags as the head coach and Bieniemy as the OC? Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Aaron Glenn season. Thanks, man. Good luck to all the Jets fans. Glory days are ahead of you guys. I hope so. Must be nice to be a fan of a great team. Draft Hunter and sign Fields. Okay. Raise your hand in the chat if you want absolutely nothing to do with Justin Fields. I will be the #1 fan of not bringing in Justin Fields until I don't care. I wasn't a fan of Justin Fields pre-draft. I'm not a fan of him now. No thank you to Justin Fields. I'm just going to say it. I have no interest in Justin Fields. And I don't care if I'm the only person that thinks that. I don't see anything in Justin Fields. I need someone that can throw the football consistently. I don't care what you can do on the ground. I don't care what you can do on the ground with your legs. Show me you can throw. What makes Lamar Jackson special is that he can throw the ball. As much as everybody wants to put him as a glorified running back, that's so false. The guy just put up a clinic passing the football this year. Multi-time MVP. I mean, Jaden Daniels, phenomenal rusher, but can throw the ball. I don't want a quarterback that can only run and not pass. Pass on Justin Fields. Cannot process the field. I don't want him. I want nothing to do with him, to be honest. I don't think... No. And these are the conversations we need to have, though. Because the Jets are going to be in the quarterback search, for sure. Any chance Jordan Travis can get reps? Yeah, I hope so. I'm a huge Jordan Travis fan. I wanted him in the draft, and we got him. I think that this is the year we're going to see him develop. I don't know if I have confidence in him to be the guy enough to be, like, you know, our #1 option going into the offseason as at the youth spot. I would still want to draft another quarterback. Draft Jackson Dart and have him compete with Jordan Travis. Just saying. I mean, there's another guy that I really like as well. Colin McCord from Syracuse. That's another name to watch out for in terms of the quarterback position. He led the nation in passing yards. Just saying. Kyle McCord. Another guy. I'm also a little biased. I am low-key. I like Syracuse. I do. Mid-round target. Let's see. Richie, in your opinion, how many games next season do you give the team before pulling the plug, especially if Aaron Rodgers comes back? What do you mean by pulling the plug? There's not going to be any pulling the plugs in year one. I mean, next year, we're not going to see firings again like we did this year. I mean, unless we're the Patriots and firing a coach after 1 year, I don't see that happening unless things go really south. Hope not. Interesting stuff, man. Very, very interesting stuff. So, folks, I do got to get ready. We're going to be live on The Huddle in 10 minutes. So make sure you guys go over to The Huddle and check me out on BetUS TV. Your thoughts on what the Jets should do to replace DJ Reed? That's a good question. I think the NFL draft is where they'll do it. So you guys can check me out on BetUS TV's The Huddle in 10 minutes on YouTube. I will see you guys then. Busy day today. Also, starting a new show every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. on Bleacher Report. So if you guys want to go check me out, go follow me on Bleacher Report. I'll be on there every Wednesday at 6 p.m. talking all things Jets. I will see you guys over there. All right. Much love to everybody in the chat. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Big shout out to BetUS as always for sponsoring the show. A lot of breaking news is going on. I'm going to try my best to give you guys as many names, as many thoughts of all these GMs and head coaches. I'm trying my best, folks. I'm trying my best. So I will see you guys next time. Love you all. See you on The Huddle. Peace out.